Hi, it's Carl Brower, and today I'm driving the 2025 Lexus LX 600 and LX 700H. The LX 600 was redesigned in 2022, it was an all-new model, but the LX 700H just came out this year. It's available in this over-trail trim that's meant for serious off-roading, and it's the first time that this level of SUV at Lexus is incorporating hybrid technology. The promise is to have on-road comfort and coddling and off-road capability in one vehicle. That's the promise Lexus has made with this vehicle, and we're going to test it today and see if it delivers. This is the first time hybrid technology has been applied to the Lexus top-end SUV, even though this basic model was redesigned in 2022 and introduced as the LX 600. But this is a big deal because Lexus is trying to move into electrification, and they've now touched every model in their model line, including this high-end one. This is a body-on-frame vehicle. It's going to take advantage of hybrid technology to not only improve fuel efficiency, but really to give it better off-road capabilities, which we're going to get into in a second. While there are now two versions of the Lexus LX, they both use a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 connected to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The difference is, in the hybrid, you have a 288 kilowatt battery connected to an electric motor. The result is an extra 58 horsepower and 4 pound-feet of torque in the hybrid version versus the 600. The hybrid also gets 1 mile per gallon better mixed fuel economy, 20 versus 19, and both models are rated to tow 8,000 pounds. With such similar torque, fuel efficiency, and towing numbers, you might wonder why the 700 exists. The answer is found outside the spec boxes for each model. Though it's worth noting, the 700H does have a 2 mile per gallon advantage in city driving, and it gets to 60 miles per hour a half a second quicker than the 600 LX. But the real reason to get a 700H is because it comes in an over-trail trim that the LX 600 doesn't offer. Now, if you think the word over-trail was maybe inspired by the overlanding craze that has completely taken over the outdoor hobbyist world over the last few years, well, you deserve an attaboy. Lexus introduced the over-trail project at the Tokyo Outdoor Show back in 2023, and the LX 700H's over-trail trim is part of that project. The project wants to inspire Lexus customers to more actively explore the great outdoors. And when you look at the features included on the over-trail trim, that's clearly the mission of this version. The over-trail's pedigree reads like a wilderness survival guide, with 18-inch wheels, 33-inch all-terrain tires, skid plates, all-weather floor mats, a 2400-watt AC inverter, and 3 locking differentials, front, center, and rear. A waterproof battery compartment allows water fording up to 27.5 inches, and there's some cool exterior styling elements, like matte gray exterior trim, black over fenders, and dark chrome window and bumper trim. The off-road features list continues with some impressive high-tech driver aids. On the 700H only, because it has an electric motor, drivers have the option to use only the electric motor's power at low speeds when they are climbing over obstacles off-road. This means you get very precise and instant torque from 0 miles per hour. Extremely helpful when you're trying to crawl over obstacles with very modulated, controlled forward momentum. These items are in addition to the off-road features found on every LX, including an adaptive suspension with height control, multi-terrain select with settings for sand, mud, and rock, and multi-terrain monitor with an exterior camera that makes it easy to navigate off-road trails without a spotter. There's also crawl control that maintains momentum when off-roading, turn assist that tightens the LX's turning circle by braking the inside wheel, and downhill assist control for descending steep slopes. Only the 700H in over-trail trim comes with 3 locking differentials, front, center, and rear. But every version of the LX includes a center locking differential, which will split the torque 50-50 between the front and rear axles. Should also note that all of these vehicles use electronically assisted power steering and electronically controlled braking. And that means that when you change all these settings for off-road or on-road, you can change the behavior of those systems. And that's why all these modern cars are using electronically assisted braking and steering, because you can customize the behavior of those systems based on the setting that the vehicle is in at the time. And that's really the appeal of the Lexus LX. It has a wide range of circumstances it can operate under, and Lexus wants it to be as capable as any extreme off-road SUV on the market, while maintaining the luxury levels the brand is known for when you're back on pavement. In fact, they're calling it the off-road SUV that gets you home, because the hybrid system has a redundant factor built into it. If it breaks, there's a separate alternator and starter that will allow the vehicle to operate purely as an internal combustion drivetrain, even if, in the rare case, there's a problem with the hybrid drivetrain. And in that spirit of having a wide range of capabilities, the LX still comes in trims like F-Sport for more sporty handling, luxury with more premium features, and ultra luxury for, well, uncompromised luxury. Upscale options include a 25-speaker Mark Levinson surround sound system, higher grade leather, a heated steering wheel, massaging seats, and a digital rear view mirror. We're about to do the extreme off-road course that they've set up for us in the Overtrail trim. And to get ready for this, they had us put the vehicle in 4 low by using this dial right here, and also use the center locker hitting this. And then they told me that I should go ahead and use the rear locker down here. So rear locker is good, center locker is good, and we've got 4 low range gearing, 4-wheel drive. And you're gonna see from inside here all the things that are going on. Everything from kind of the pitch and angle of the vehicle on the monitor here to what I really like is the multi-terrain view. Sorry, the multi-terrain monitor, I think it's called. So here we go. Off-roading extremely in the Overtrail. And this is a pretty serious, the course isn't super long, but it's pretty extreme, and probably something that 99% of LX's, even Overtrail versions, will probably never be subjected to. It's interesting to note that this vehicle is the Lexus LX 700h Overtrail in this particular trim we're in, but it shares most of its mechanicals and all of its platform with the globally sold Toyota LC300 Land Cruiser, which is considered the big Land Cruiser, so to speak. It's not the one we get in this country. So the Land Cruiser we get here is honestly much closer to the Lexus GX, which is a smaller vehicle. The Land Cruiser sold in other markets, like the Middle East, is the LC300 Land Cruiser, and it's essentially this car without Lexus badges. In both cases, that global platform is the most extreme off-road platform that Toyota and Lexus offer. If you're in the US and you want it, you can't get it in a Toyota badged vehicle, but you can get it in this very serious off-road capable Lexus LX 700h in Overtrail trim. So here we are, we're going up a very steep hill. I can't see anything but blue sky in front of me, but I've got the multi-terrain monitor telling me exactly where to steer as I go over this hill. Since not all of us can afford to bring along an extra body to serve as a spotter, this is very helpful. Now we're getting into the serious articulation mode that the vehicle offers. And once again, I've got multi-terrain monitor to tell me where exactly my wheels are relative to the land around me. And then finally, we're gonna go over a pretty serious rock pile. Starts out with a couple logs, like we're going over right here on the driver's side. And now we're gonna start climbing some serious rocks. And again, I can't see anything below that hood looking out the windshield, but I've got a very good idea of where I am relative to the rocks and where I want to turn my wheel because of multi-terrain monitor. Yeah, there's some serious rocks out there, ones you are not meant to climb over and that you would heavily damage the vehicle if you hit. But between looking out the windows and looking at multi-terrain monitor, I know exactly where I want to go and where I want to turn and how to position it to avoid that. So you're not going to see most of these LXs ever experience this kind of treatment from most of their owners, but Lexus wants them to know that it can do this, especially in over-trail trim. All right, and then one last set of serious logs and serious articulation. Here comes the left side, driver's side coming up, and now here comes the passenger side coming up, and then one more time on the driver's side. And the only thing clunking around in here is my own equipment in the second row seat. Everything else feels very secure and quiet and refined and confident in this LX 700H. And that's it. That's the whole point. I think it's cool that even if you can't get that LC300 Land Cruiser, the global version of this car, there is a version. If you've got the means, the money, and you've got the desire to have a serious off-road vehicle and a serious on-road luxury experience in one vehicle, plus add in, let's just go ahead and add in Toyota Lexus quality, buy this vehicle and drive it for, 20, 30 years. These things are always at the top of our longest lasting list at IC Cars, and there's a reason for that. It's because they're Toyota engineering and Toyota quality. So it's expensive. Not gonna get these cheap. They're all over $100,000, but you probably won't find anything else in the marketplace that combines capability, luxury, and long-term durability like this one does. So we've had all our fun in the off-road version, and it was fun, but we're now driving the ultra luxury version of the 700H. And this probably better represents not only the spirit of this vehicle, but the way it will be driven by most people most of the time. And I can tell. I know that the 18-inch wheels with 33-inch off-road tires gives the Overtrail a big advantage. So does the front-rear locking differentials. But I got to tell you, all the rest of the technology that had for off-road is on this one too. The trail control and the turn assist, and it still has the central locking differential, and it feels really good on road. Better than the other one because of the tire and wheel change. So I think if I was buying a Lexus 700H, I'd probably go for the ultra luxury and just figure I'm not going to always be off-roading it anyways. So why wouldn't I get this one that's better 90% of the time, 99% of the time that I'm using the vehicle? As the ultra luxury trim, I think this is the $142,000 version of this vehicle, but it's got some pretty serious appointments. I've got everything from my head-up display that I'm seeing right now as I look through the windshield to this quilted semi-aniline, I believe is how you say it, leather, and these cool kind of finish on the trim around the shifter area. I can feel the luxury, and I can even see it too, like when I look in the rearview mirror and I've got a digital rearview mirror that I can see out of even if I load the back up to the roof. This is very refined and very powerful, and also I've done some U-turns in this while we were shooting. It's also got a really impressive steering radius. I mean, this thing turns around very sharply. A lot of people are going to question $142,000 even for a top-line Lexus. But keep in mind, this one still has most of that off-road capability. It still comes with all those great off-road features, and it's got the heart of the Land Cruiser 300 global platform underneath it. That means it's going to be very capable off-road. But it's got a plethora, as they would say, of luxury features to go with it. And I want to point out the fact that this one, like all of them, still sticks with a 12-inch central touchscreen instead of the 14-inch touchscreen that we've seen on other new Lexus and Toyota products like the 4Runner and the GX and the Land Cruiser. That seems like maybe Lexus is cheaping out and they're not putting their better display in this vehicle. But I talked to the lead engineer last night and he confirmed there was a very purposeful reason they did that. This screen, these multiple screens actually, allow for the HVAC to sit on either side. You've got two vents on either side of this smaller, lower screen that gets you closer to the passengers in the front seats. If you go for that larger 14-inch display that the other Toyotas have, it takes over this whole area and you lose those two vents. And he wanted the ability to heat or cool the front passengers more effectively, and he told them, no, we're not moving to the 14-inch screen. We're sticking with the 12-inch top screen and the smaller lower screen, and maintaining these large vents on either side of that lower screen for functional climate control purposes. Lexus will still allow you to get a 4-passenger, like this ultra luxury model that has a center console for both the front and second row, or a 7-passenger with a third row back here. This one does not have the third row. What's worth noting is that if you get a third row Lexus LX 700H, you're going to have that hybrid drivetrain, and that elevates the cargo area just a bit. You cannot fold the third row down and have a flat load floor unless you also have a shelf at the very back of the cargo area, which they provide. So there's this retractable shelf, and it can handle up to about 170 pounds, and it'll fold up and down with that third row seat, and it'll give you a flat load floor, even on the hybrid model that would otherwise have kind of an uneven floor because of this elevated cargo floor due to the hybrid drivetrain. We're now sitting in the second row of the ultra luxury trim, and it's feeling pretty ultra luxurious back here. Everything from the semi-aniline leather quilted material on these seats, to the second row wireless charging pad, to what is an incredibly elaborate control system. Everything from volume to climate, seat controls, lamps. Yes, you get your own lamps that are up here, and you can see I'll turn them on and off. This is a lot of features for your second row person, and you're also capable of watching some second row entertainment screens if you want. The black piano trim here, everything lives up to the ultra luxury badging, and I think if this is the way you want to go with your Lexus LX 700, it's probably truer to the car's spirit as a top-end luxury SUV. The truth is that the premium luxury SUV market has gotten more competitive in the last few years than it's ever been before. And that puts pressure on a brand like Lexus to produce a top-line luxury SUV that not only delivers coddling comfort and luxury on-road, but incredible capability off-road, and transitions between those with full confidence. At a price that starts over $100,000 and goes as high as $142,000 for the ultra luxury trim, it has to do that in a very easily justifiable way. Thankfully, these two models do.